This is from Fox News. Gavin Newsom defends fire response with fact check site linking to Democrat Party fundraising platform.
Wait. Linking to what?
Democrat Party fundraising platform, actually a political action committee called ActBlue.
That's not real. There's no way.
Democrats are skimming 4% of your donations off the top. And it's totally legal, and I am not suggesting anything untoward. I just think it's unethical. That's my opinion. This is ActBlue. It's a big scandal. Go to youtube.com/Timcast, subscribe, because we put up a video every 4 p.m. We have an essay breakdown on what ActBlue is, how they're basically skimming off the top. But we're going to go over it right now. So check this out. Gavin Newsom posts this website, California Fire Facts, and he says, get the facts. And up top on the right, it says, donate to Cal Fire Foundation. Would you like to donate to the California Fire Foundation, Jack Posobiec?
Oh, who wouldn't? How dare you not donate?
You're
refusing to donate to Cal Fire Foundation?
I'm going to click the button.
Because you just hate the firemen, don't you?
I clicked the button.
All right. Wait, hold on.
What's that website say?
That looks that's not a picture of a firefighter.
That's Gavin Newsom.
That's Gavin Newsom.
And what does the website say? What's the URL?
The URL says secure.actblue.com.
Well, that doesn't sound like firefighters. The firefighters called the ActBlue Fire Department. What's the name of the fundraising page?
Campaign for Democracy?
Well, that doesn't sound like no firefighters.
Oh my.
And then it says this. Your donation will go directly towards supporting firefighters in the communities they serve, including direct financial support to impacted residents. Your contribution will benefit California Fire Foundation. So what's the problem? It's going to go to the firefighters, right? However, underneath it says contribution rules. Charitable donations made through this form are received and processed by ActBlue Charities, Inc., a 501c3 tax-exempt organization formed to democratize charitable giving and are subject to ActBlue's terms of service. The merchant of record in this transaction is ActBlue Charities, Inc. We subsequently give your contribution to the organization or cause that you have selected on the contribution form within 30 days. Okay. Well, so what's the issue here, Jack? I mean, it's not, I thought I was going to the firefighters website, but why is that a problem?
So the issue with it is that you're putting money in the pocket of a directly politically associated organization, ActBlue, which we know works to exist to elect or push for progressive values that has nothing to do with directly impacting firefighters.
No, it directly impacted this. Definitely, they're the cause.
Impacted
they're
the
absolutely
people who created the fires in the first place, and potentially stand to benefit in some cases, like the plot of Chinatown tells us. Completely insane.
Let me read this from Fox News. The ActBlue website states that donations made via the platform include a 3.95% processing fee, which is passed on to the groups using our platform. The New York Post reported that ActBlue waived the fees for fire donations, though the fundraising behemoth did not immediately respond to Fox's digital request to comment. So here's the gist of it. If you go to the California Fire Foundation's direct website, you can donate directly without 4% going to ActBlue.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
It doesn't say on the ActBlue site that they're waiving the fee, as far as I can tell. However, they are saying in the news report that they're waiving that fee. But the bigger story, largely, is that they're collecting your information.
And they're getting your data, yeah.
They're getting your data, your emails. They're going to know where you live. And they are using that to campaign for political office. They are manipulating and exploiting a disaster to try and win elected office.
It doesn't, I can't get over this, by the way. It's a giant picture of Gavin Newsom. I mean, that right there is politicking. It's Gavin Newsom. It doesn't even, he's just obviously at a political event. He has nothing to do with firefighting here.
And it says, donate to Cal Fire Foundation. And when you click it, it brings you to Gavin Newsom's campaign for democracy. I'm assuming it's his. It's a big picture of him. It's amazing, isn't it?
So in the 1970s, the Weather Underground, domestic Marxist terrorists, blew up a lot of people, went to jail after being fugitives.
Well,
Bill Ayers, hold on. Bill Ayers, Susan Rosenberg, bad people. Susan Rosenberg was pardoned by Bill Clinton on his last day in office. She became a professor. Years later, she started Thousand Currents. And then during the 2020 riots, Thousand Currents helped ActBlue funnel all their money to bail funds for BLM terrorists. This is what they do. The ActBlue loves to fund terrorists.
Who was their stepson, by the way?
He was the only guy recalled in California, I believe.
Tessa Boudin.
Is that his name?
I don't know if that's how you say it, but Chesa Boudin, who was the San Francisco DA, who was basically the Soros-backed DA, was the stepson of these two people who, by the way, the reason he was their stepson was because their parents were in jail for all of the bombing.
Cuomo just pardoned.
You were wrong, technically.
Where at?
The Weather Underground didn't blow anyone but themselves up.
Well, they killed some people in Nanuet.
There was, what was it, the shooting?
In New York.
The bank robbery.
The bank robbery.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a shooting, wasn't it?
It might have been a shooting in Nanuet.
The bombing was, the only people who were killed in Weather Underground bombings
themselves.
were 3 members of the Weather Underground.
Okay.
So,
they still killed people.
So
they were
hoping
hoping to bomb people.
They did blow up a lot of people themselves.
But they were planning to align the white elite, overeducated degenerates with the Black Liberation Front, which is what they ended up doing with Susan Rosenberg and BLM in 2020.
And by the way, that headline of the BLM founder's house is burning down was fake news. It was satire. It was
Too good to be true.
But yeah, Bill Ayers raised that kid while his parents were in
Bill Ayers
jail.
raised the
and
kid, yeah.
Cuomo, on his last day in office, pardoned that guy's dad at the behest of the son.
Amazing.
Listen,
Amazing.
the left is better at organizing than you are.
True.
Than we are.
Yep.
It's so look, I used to work for a bunch of these nonprofits, and I was flabbergasted when me and my friends found out there's a network of progressive nonprofits where you've got to have 3 board members for a nonprofit. It's like secretary, treasurer, and president or something. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while. And what they would do is they would have these unpaid board positions, and then they would have executive staff positions, and they would each get paid like $60,000 a year. Then between these people, they would be part of another nonprofit where the executive staffers are board members and the board members are executive staff. So they're all getting paid salaries, like 3-4 salaries from each different nonprofit, where they're differently on the boards of each. And we were like, wow, that's really crazy. They keep starting these nonprofits. Here's the con. One of the reasons I got out of the industry. I remember asking a nonprofit, what do you do with the funds? So when we say like 90% of the funding goes to the cause, people ask, like, if I give you $10, how much goes to the cause? We tell them $9. And they go, really? 90%? That's right. Only 10% is administrative. So I asked the guy, what is that 90% going towards? And he said, fundraising. I said, what? He says, isn't getting out and spreading the message the most important thing we can do? And I was like, you mean to tell me that we're raising money to pay ourselves to raise money? And he was like, yes, but we're educating the public while we do it of these problems in the environment. And that's the only way to bring about change is to affect the public in that way. And I was like, it sounds like you're full of it. And you're just
malarkey.
Full of malarkey.
Look, I do
Which brings me to my good friends, Pod Save America. You guys want to talk about Pod Save America?
I want to do a quick shout out on all this to a great Californian named Mike Cernovich right now.
He's great.
Who
Big fan.
Up on Give, Send, Go has raised, I believe, something like $250,000. And then he and his family put up some money. They're working with Chef Gruel.
Absolutely.
And those
Heroes.
guys. And he's done it. I know Breitbart did a write-up earlier. It said he's doing it in such a way where he's not even touching a single cent. Give, Send, Go, I don't know if they have an administrative fee or not, but he's just putting all of his money where his mouth is. And he's just done that by himself, by the way, with no organization other than just posting it on Twitter.
Watch Newsom stop.
I'm a big fan. I got a lot of respect for Mike Cernovich. He's great. And the stuff he's doing down in California to help is fantastic. And also shout out to Chef Gruel. We're working with him on the ActBlue franchises, and he's been leading the charge down in California to giving people a place to come together if they've lost their homes, providing relief efforts. He had this great story where he said Amazon truck driver came and brought them stuff and then helped out. Right? Very cool to hear. And while we're talking about that, let's jump over to our friends over at Pod Save America. So I'll give you the quick version. And I want to stress, I don't think these guys are doing anything legally wrong. This is some of the most brilliant organizing I've ever seen. So someone pointed out that Pod Save America, that Vote Save America, a nonprofit, their biggest expenditure was media buys from Pod Save America. So you basically, I'll just give you a simple version of the story. This guy, John Favreau, says you're a fraud. VSA Action isn't even a PAC. It's a nonprofit. All you have to do is click the link to see where the money goes. And this is where things are being confused. Vote Save America, a PAC, and Vote Save America Action are 2 different groups. Pod Save America was fundraising for Vote Save America Action to assist with the fire relief. You donate to them, they break up the donations among 5 different charities. Through ActBlue, however, which by default takes a fee, so there is still that issue. They're campaigning off this. But here's the real issue. So let me pull up Vote Save America. Let's see if I can find this. Here we go. Influence Watch. Pod Save America, for those that don't know, is a large leftist liberal podcast. It's very prominent in this country. According to Influence Watch, Vote Save America is an online voter guide operated by left-of-center political media company Crooked Media. VSA's Adopt a State campaign steers activists who do not reside in battleground states to volunteer in the effort, blah, blah, blah. We get the point. They're progressives. So it's run by Crooked Media, which is Pod Save America. Pod Save America. So here's their website, Vote Save America. I want to donate to support the anxiety relief program. It says, when you click it, your contribution will benefit Vote Save America. They say that they started the anxiety relief program to fund grassroots organizations, campaigns, and voter protection efforts that are too often overlooked. In 2024, because of donors' generosity, they raised $3.7 million. That funding supported over 67 partner organizations, 14 states, 36 down-ballot candidates, 45 House campaigns, 7 U.S. Senate campaigns. Would you like to see the number one expenditure for Vote Save America? It's Crooked Media. I'm not saying they're not contributing to these other platforms. They're not helping. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. I'm saying this is brilliant. From the looks of things, and I could be missing context, and I think that's fair, it appears to me that Pod Save America promotes a nonprofit that they run, and then the nonprofit pays the podcast to promote them.
It's a human centipede.
What percentage is that?
It looks, I could be wrong, but maybe about 35 to 40%.
It's huge.
$2.8 million. Their second largest expenditure is Vote Save America, which presumably is themselves. I don't know. At $387,000, followed by Blue State Digital, $260, ActBlue, $152, PAC for America's Future. I do think it's fair to say that I think if we look at their total, I don't know if we can take their total, total revenue. You can see their total expenses. All right, here we go. Contributions. They gave 2.2. In media, it was 2.2. So I don't know. I think to Crooked Media, which is their media company, it's not just ad buys. It's also consulting and other things. But you can see it's 32.31% media of their expenditures. I think it's brilliant. What the point I'm bringing you guys is that the left organizes better than the right.
Okay, but there's a corollary to that. Is that when Steve Bannon set up a nonprofit, or actually promoted a nonprofit that he didn't even set up himself to fund the building of a private wall. So, conservatives said, hey, you know what? We really want this wall built. And this is back when Mitch McConnell and those guys were blocking the funding, and President Trump was trying to use military funding, declare a national emergency because we had a giant illegal alien problem. They said, all right, we'll get private land. We'll set up a nonprofit. We'll get people to donate to the nonprofit. We'll crowdfund this. And then we can build the wall literally ourselves on private land. And he's going to jail for that because they found they're claiming that, by the way, there are already people in jail for that. He had federal charges on that, which required a pardon. He has state charges for that are coming up under Letitia James in New York City and Alvin Bragg and all of this. So they're trying to put Steve Bannon in jail. He goes on trial, by the way, next month in New York City over this. And by the way, over they used a straw donor. I think it's like a $21 donation. And this guy said, I feel like I was defrauded because of the percentages that were not going to the wall, that were going to other places, which, by the way, they were lower than average for for charitable organizations. Like, look at Wounded Warriors. This is a huge problem, by the way, with the Red Cross. That the Red Cross gets criticized like this for a ton because what do they spend so much of their money on? Like you were saying, fundraising activities. But Steve Bannon is going to go to jail for that because we have lawfare in this country. So yes, agreed that liberals do have a massive generational, and it is one generation ahead. And you got great people out there like Charlie Kirk and others. By the way, shout out to the Turning Point Ball. I hear it's going to be pretty hot this Sunday night. I plan to be there, and as well as the Coronation Ball. But look, when the right tries to do that, literally we get put in jail.
Yep. This is. There will be no kind of, there will be nothing even close to resembling an investigation or anything like that. I mean, no one's going to even look at these guys crossly.
So here's a quick point. I'm going to start the Phil Labonte Foundation for saving sick cats. And when, you donate to that foundation, rest assured you are doing the most effective thing you can do to help save sick cats. Then, of course, Phil, your foundation owes me for that ad read I just did, so pay me all the money. Isn't spreading the word about sick cats the most important thing you can do to save them?
Of course it is.
There you go. There's nothing illegal about that, right?
Is Pod Save America the guys who were the Obama speechwriters?
I don't know.
I think some of them, yeah.
Right? So they're
Perhaps.
connected.
They have a Stacey Abrams podcast.
Oh, that's
Basically,
exciting.
the simple version is people donate to this political action committee for a variety of causes. I don't know how they allocate their funds, but it does appear, based on open secrets, that their largest expenditure by a lot, single, is their own media company. So, look, I think Democrats love this. I want to stress this. If you go to a progressive and say, did you know when you donate to this charity, you're actually helping fund leftist podcasts? They're going to go, that's awesome. We need a media narrative machine. All these liberals keep screaming how they need to make money to do this. They are loving the machine operates this way.
It's their religion.
The thing is, there's going to be a lot of regular people who don't know this and don't know they're inadvertently funding media shows or ActBlue.
Well, again, there's an entire one of the most brilliant things that George Soros ever did was just simply create the make-work ecosystem of the left to say that you can be a liberal, progressive activist and yet have a full-time job, make like $150,000 a year, and go and do this work for progressive causes full-time. There's nothing like that.
I thought you were going to say it was that he convinced the world he didn't exist.
No, that's Kevin Spacey. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Then his best ROI move, of course, was the prosecutors. But this idea that you can just have a generation of millennials that exist and have their entire lives and their families, to the extent that they have families, or their designer children that they purchase from surrogates, gone and bought for by this donor money, it's genius. And when you go to people on the right and you'll say like, oh, we need to donate for this thing, and they say, what's the ROI on that? It's like, well, the ROI is that we win the culture and then thus win the country. And they sit there and go like, I don't think that's going to make money. I'm not donating. That's why you don't see good conservative movies. That's why, by and large, that's why you don't see good conservative content outside of stuff like, I'm not even saying this is conservative content. We're just talking about the news here, outside of a few others, because you don't see these massive donors just writing checks and putting it into the ecosystem like that.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.